Alright everyone, welcome to Wednesday's video. This is the day, hopefully, that Celtic clinch the league title. And if you're feeling at all nervous, I see you, John. And I see you, Bobby. Listen, I'm not criticising you, that's fine. But if you do feel at all nervous, we're here to calm you down and obviously look ahead to the game tonight. These two are absolutely buzzing. I'm extremely jealous, guys, that you are going to the game tonight. I must admit, since I've lived in Australia, I've not really had too many games where I've been like, oh, I'm really gutted I'm not going. Tonight is one. I think tonight has a potential to be incredible under the lights. And I can tell already you're both absolutely buzzing, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely buzzing. I've never been to an away game where Celtic can clinch the league. Never been to an away game as important as this before. And when I've been following Celtic, so I'm really looking forward to tonight. It would have been nice for it to have been finished last night, fought after about 42, 43 minutes. That would have been the case, but Dundee forgot how to defend for the second half and conceded 5 goals. That's fine. Celtic can do it themselves. I'd much rather that Celtic do it themselves anyway, rather win it on our own accord and our own merit, even though that's the result of the whole season. It's not just the one game that wins you the title. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to tonight. And I've just got a funny feeling, famous last words, but I've got a funny feeling that Celtic will be in the mood tonight to exact a bit of revenge on Kilmarnock. Results haven't been good, especially at Rugby Park this season. But I think they're going to exact some revenge tonight. And I think they'll really be up for making sure that title comes home to Celtic Park.
The stage is set, Tony, isn't it? I mean, like last night, as you say, it would have been nice to already be champions. I must admit, a small part of me wants to do it ourselves, and we've got that opportunity now to do it.
What do the Celtic supporters sing? This is the day when we win away. Yeah. We will rejoice, and some say get mad with it, others say we will be glad with it. Whatever way you want to celebrate it, there'll be no impediment to Celtic winning this title tonight. I think they will do it in style, and they will do it, as our briefing says, the Celtic way. People can look at the other 2 games they've lost at Kilmarnock. We were speaking off air before we came on air. There's no comparison. No comparison with those two. It's a different squad, it's a different team, a different manager as well, different mindset, different mentality. Everything's just different. And as Ryan said there, you're only human. And I think that will rankle with Celtic that they've lost twice already at Rugby Park. Lightning won't strike 3 times. Get your money on Celtic bringing their A game and doing it in style. There you go. For any of those guys that are nervous, hopefully that's cheered you up a bit, and you'll want this game to happen right now. And I'm already under the lights. There's a big light shining in my boat race right now, so I'll be under the lights all day basically. So there you have it.
Oh, it's going to be magic. Listen, first of all, a big thanks to MPH Boilers and Weissman for sponsoring this video. Weissman are a global leader in the boiler industry. It's great to have them sponsoring the podcast, and to make things even more excited, they've teamed up with Scotland's very own award-winning installation team, MPH Boilers, which makes this a match made in heaven. So check them out. A great deal on at the moment, which includes your first year service for free. Links will be in the description. Speaking of great deals, Ryan, we've got this as well.
Yep, 6 months of access for just £1. Plus, you could win lunch with a Celtic legend. That is legendary manager Martin O'Neill, who's no stranger to a title or 2. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. I just want to caveat that by saying anybody that's already subscribed to the website is automatically entered into this great competition. So if you want to be in it to win it, then please subscribe to the Celtic Way website, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. You'll get all of the content from tonight. Hopefully, Tony and I are writing about a title win for Celtic. You get instant analysis. You will get player ratings from the game as well as all the press conferences that will be coming out. Also, keep an eye out on the YouTube channel after the game, as we will have Brendan Rodgers. Whether Celtic win, lose or draw, we'll have a video of him in his press conference straight after the game. Could be an interesting listen.
With champagne. Are you bringing the champagne? Is that what you're doing?
Champagne Rodgers. That's it. I'm just looking forward to being in his presence tonight, especially if he wins this league. I'm excited to hear what he has to say, because he's been very passionate in the media. I did enjoy his press conference yesterday as well, saying that he was watching the the Tottenham Man City game. I wonder if he switched the channels a couple of times, because there's only one channel between Sky Sports Main Event and Sky Sports Premier League, or whatever the two channels were on. I wonder if he switched it ever so slightly. He would have switched it back after Rangers started scoring goals. But yeah, hopefully he enjoyed that game. He's got this game to focus on tonight, and I'm sure he'll have his troops ready for battle, as they say.
I thought he handled that question brilliantly as well. I thought he handled the kind of first.
He knew it was coming.
The opening questions as well. Did you have fun? He's just class. He's a class act. He's just, dignity personified. It doesn't matter what you ask him or throw at him. And he has had a couple of, small rips, but for personal reasons, where I think he's big on respect, and I think he respects everybody, and felt that wasn't reciprocal this season from various quarters. So it will be interesting to see what he says tonight, because he said he would open up more about it, because he was keen to stress that nothing had been won yet, which was, again, another example of just how classy he is. And I wrote a piece this morning, and it's on, last night, about the press conference, and I was saying it's about the double H, which usually in Celtic terms means hail, hail, but I was saying it stands for humble and humility, and the manager's very big on that. I will bring that up, guys, if you want to have a wee read at that. And it's true, he's big on that. He always has his players primed like that, and you can tell, because that's a squad full of players who are humble and show humility and respect. And so I thought he handled that brilliantly yesterday. Again, but it's just been a masterclass from Brendan Rodgers since Tynecastle and the 3H game at Ibrox. And so he deserves this moment, and he deserves to say what he's going to say after it tonight, if Celtic do manage to get it over the line. And I think we're all confident that they can do that. There's that piece, guys, if you want to have a look. Sorry, Seamus, want to go?
Perfect. I agree that he's got more to say, and I think he'll probably spread it out over the next 3 matches, obviously, if we're successful in the Scottish Cup final. I think what we got on Saturday was probably only a wee taster, but the general kind of feeling, as if we didn't need any more, emotion and meaning tonight. It's been announced that there'll be a minute's applause prior to kick-off. It's the 16th anniversary of the passing of Tommy Buns. He died at the age of 51 on this day in 2008. He's a Celtic legend. He's also, I think it's fair to say, a Kilmarnock legend as well. They're very fond of him. I think he managed the club. So there'll be a minute's applause before kick-off. There'll also be a display in the Celtic end before kick-off. So that was announced yesterday by the North Curve. So it'll be interesting to see what that is. I'm sure that'll just add a bit of emotion to the occasion if it needed any more. And the other thing I want to mention, it's actually also the 23rd, I'm trying to do my maths, 23rd anniversary of legendary Lisbon Lion Bobby Murdoch passing away as well. So it's quite a it's quite a sad date in the Celtic calendar, but I think, both of those guys are going to be celebrated tonight, and it's kind of fitting that we could hopefully win the league on this date, Ryan.
Yeah, I think that's the lucky part of having a team like Celtic, is that you've got so many legends to celebrate. Unfortunately, death is a part of life, but you can still celebrate all of these legends when those anniversaries do come. And this sad day, and it is a sad day in terms of passing, Tommy Burns being a massive loss, Bobby Murdoch too. I remember when Tommy Burns passed away, it was an outpouring of sadness from Scottish football from every single quarter. He was one of those universal people that everybody liked. You had Celtic fans, Rangers fans, every other team liked Tommy Burns, and he was a legend in the Kilmarnock parts too. He was the Kilmarnock manager, I believe, before he was drafted in to become the Celtic manager.
Yeah.
So he's a legend of the Scottish game. I'm sure that'll be observed by everybody. That minute's applause will be observed by every member of person in the stadium. I'm sure that it will be a very popular move to do that. And yeah, it's a sad day in terms of anniversaries, but it can be a happy day in terms of Celtic getting the job done and getting the win. getting the win. The unfortunate part of having so many legends, as I said at the start when I was speaking about this, is that they pass eventually, and you've got so many to remember. And that's just the case throughout the year. But in these moments, it's great to celebrate them and remember what they did for the club too. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to paying my respects to those two tonight, and hopefully the team can pay their respects by going about it the Celtic way and winning the league tonight.
As I say, Tony, it just adds a bit more emotion if we needed it to a big night.
What is it they say? They never die who live in the hearts they leave behind. Says it all, really, doesn't it? I think that's the inscription in John Thompson's gravestone, isn't it? You can apply that to any Celtic legend. Tommy Buns and Bobby Murdoch fit into that category. And whilst there's a poignancy and a sadness, I think it's a celebration of those guys' lives and what they brought to Celtic and what they did. And it will be sad. And I can't think about either or without getting choked up, because I became very friendly with Bobby Murdoch. And I've told the story before about how he treated my father. And it's just, I would have retired on the back of that if I wasn't so young. Or I just shut the saloon doors and said, thank you, that's me away. Good night, because it's just one of the, I've said it before, but it's the proudest moment of my career, introducing my dad to his football hero, because he introduced me to mine, took me to see mine, which was King Kenny, and as a person, as a footballer, Bobby Murdoch is, in the Middlesbrough website, Bobby Murdoch is the only footballer in Middlesbrough who is rated as world class. He's a world class footballer, but he's a world class person. And Tommy Buns, I met him once when I was doing work experience at the Celtic View after I graduated from university. And I've said this before, he took me into his room, because he walked into the Celtic View office and went, "A new person, who are you?" "I'm Tony Haggerty, I'm this and that." "Follow me, son." Went into his office and we sat down, and he just looked at me and just stared at me and said, "I can see you're a Celtic man. You've got it in your heart and in your soul." And I was nearly crying, that way. You just, wow, this was the Celtic manager, and got like 5 minutes of his time. He told me to enjoy the experience, and he said to me, "Any players you want to speak to, chat this door and I'll make sure they're available to you." And for a kid that was doing the work experience, it was just like, it was wow. I was just like, I went home that night, Tommy Buns spoke to me, Dad, that kind of stuff. And unbelievable, just the way he treated somebody like myself, and I've never ever forgotten that. And I sadly never got to deal with him in a media capacity either. But, tonight you just sort of, you pay homage and respect, and whilst it's sad, I'm more of a kind of, I celebrate. The Rolodex in my mind will just click, Polaroid pictures, and I'll think of all the memories that these guys elicit in your brain. And those who were older and were fortunate to see Bobby Murdoch, I say you're privileged. My old man says he's the best footballer he's seen. I go with that, and people like Steve McGrory and others on this pod can tell me about that. But everybody has that Tommy Buns memories. Just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person.
Yeah, fabulous words. And just as I say, adds a bit to tonight if we needed it. Right, Brendan Rodgers yesterday's, we've already covered his answer about wanting to watch Spurs v Man City, which that was an interesting game, by the way. I actually believe I did watch that rather than Rangers Dundee, and because I was just fascinated by the Spurs supporters mindset and the whole Arsenal thing.
So was the manager after the game. My goodness,
very very interesting stuff. I don't know if we'll quite go into it today, but very interesting stuff. Rodgers also kind of gave us a team update. I think Yang's going to miss tonight. Not that he would have played anyway. Alistair Johnson said to be fine. Apparently he had 11 stud marks on his leg after the tackle at the weekend, Alistair Johnson. So he should be all right for tonight. Do you make changes for tonight, given that the derby, this is the first midweek game we've had in a while. We only had the game, albeit I think nearly 5 days ago. do we have the players to make changes at the moment, or do you maybe keep your changes for Saturday, which will hopefully be a dead rubber?
Unless there's injuries, then I keep it the way it is. I keep the same 11. If they can all play, then this team have got their manager and the club through Hearts at home and Rangers at home. Those are two games that maybe revenge was needed. Maybe less so with Rangers because I've had a good record against Rangers this season. But Hearts have beaten Celtic a couple of times this season. Kilmarnock have beaten Celtic a couple of times this season. It's time to bring out the old boys, the guys that know how to do it, the guys that have got the experience of winning titles in the past. I know I say old boys, some of them have only been there maybe a season or two, but even then they've got the experience of winning leagues, winning titles, and being in amongst it. They'll all be looking forward to Trophy Day, but they've still got to do one more thing before that Trophy Day gets confirmed, before we can all start getting excited and talking about what will happen on Saturday afternoon, Saturday lunchtime or just after. I don't think you change anything unless there's an injury. Like, unless Alistair Johnson physically cannot play, he's got to start on Saturday or tonight for me and Saturday. Yeah, tonight. I think
on Saturday as well.
Player. I'd play everybody on Saturday. You've got a week to go until the Scottish Cup final. Yeah, unless I think you can make changes after 60 minutes once the game's won, or even after half time if you're wanting to change it. But I mean, I can see both sides. But I think tonight, if you want to get the league done tonight, don't make any changes tonight. Make things. If you want to make changes, make them happen on Saturday. But full team tonight. Get the result, and then you can maybe make changes. Can't forget the fact that there's a plastic pitch at play as well, which has never been good for Celtic over the past few years. So if they win the game comfortably and they're in the second half and they're a few goals up, then maybe I would start making changes then. But get the result first, and then start worrying about Saturday next week.
Tony,
I said it in my predicted 11, Hamish. Here we are, and here we go all together for 3 in a row. Status quo, same team. End of. Job done. That's it. So it's. I think there's a feeling that the team that started against Rangers are good enough to see that over the line, and once you do that, you can make your changes. But it's status quo for me. The same team that started against Rangers and produced that wonderful footballing goal that's not talked about enough. But you brought it up, and so that's what I would do.
Because I was even trying to think of players that could come in tonight, and Adam Ida, potentially I think people looked at this game with maybe Kelly being quite physical, but Kyogo's got a good record at Rugby Park, doesn't he? And Kuhn, but would you drop Maida or Forrest after the weekend? I do think, I mean, it's, as I say, by kickoff, I think it's 4.5 days between the derby and kick-off tonight, so it's a decent chunk of time. It's not as if you're going like Wednesday night to Saturday lunchtime or anything. So I think it'll be fine to go out. And as I say, if we get the job done tonight, I'd be looking for. But personally speaking, I don't know if I'd play any of our first choice players on Saturday with the cup final a week later. But that's probably a debate to have on Friday. Hopefully with the league wrapped up at that stage. But yeah, I mean, there's been a few comments, and more at the start of the video, guys, of people just, and I did reference them a little bit, just about the game tonight, and Bobby saying, really nervous about tonight, just wants it done and dusted in any way possible, can't let it go down to Saturday's Rangers have a friendly in Edinburgh. I mean, do you understand why some supporters are still a bit anxious? Do either you feel nerves that things could go wrong tonight? What do you think?
I can understand why people are nervous because I've been in this situation before. I can also understand it due to the fact that last season Celtic played a game at this point against Hibs. I know the league was over, but they were dreadful that night. They had really went on their holidays for that game, or a sort of annual leave break until they came back for the Scottish Cup final against Inverness. I just think that they'll be laser focused tonight to get the job done. I'm very, very confident that they'll go out and do and I think they've got credit in the bank as well over the past couple of games in pressure situations. There was pressure on that Hearts game, there was pressure on the Rangers game, and they came through it. Also, this is a different team to the team that played against Kilmarnock earlier on in the season. There was injuries. There was Nat Phillips playing in defence the last time that Celtic went to Rugby Park. Now Celtic will have Carter Vickers and Liam Scales, the first choice pairing at this moment in time. They'll have McGregor, they'll have Hattati, they'll have Matt O'Reilly, who scored in the last game at Rugby Park. He's going to be the only one that was really playing before Kilmarnock then turned it around and scored. I think they're in a really much better place. I think players like Forrest tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if Forrest has something to say tonight. He could be one of these players that just steps up and gets a couple of goals. He's been in this situation before. He's been around. He would have been in and around the team the last time the league was clinched at Rugby Park back in 2012. Yep. I know they didn't exactly clinch the league against Kilmarnock when it went to 10 men when Scott Brown gets sent off for his celebration, but it was effectively the case. It basically confirmed without confirming them officially that Celtic were going to be the champions that night. But what a night that was, or what an afternoon that was, when Celtic came to the place that they were down 3-0 at half time to come back 3 each earlier on in the season. What was it, 5-0, 6-0, with both 6-0, just absolutely crazy atmosphere. I didn't even go to that game, but hearing it on the TV, I still watch that video. You can actually see the camera bouncing. I think it could be a similar atmosphere tonight. Not that there'll be as many fans this time around, because Kilmarnock sell more of their tickets now, and that's a credit to them and a credit to Derek McInnes that they're getting more people through the gates. But I think it's going to be a raucous atmosphere. I think Celtic are really going to, the supporters are really going to bring the noise tonight, and I think the players will reciprocate that and bring some style on the pitch.
I love a Bruni type moment tonight, Hamish. With somebody like Maida. Anybody really, but Maida would be universally popular, wouldn't he? Imagine Maida doing what he did again, jumping into the crowd after scoring the title clinching goal. It would just be, I want a moment like that. I guess that was 1-0, and I think Celtic went 8 points clear, and more or less it was done and dusted. Obviously the 6-0 game that you reference, and there's a neat symmetry where Celtic have got some Japanese players in the academy like Nakamura, who scored the winner for Gordon Strachan's team 2-1 at Rugby Park last gasp, brilliant trademark free kick. So I would like that to happen to the likes of Kyogo or Maida, maybe even Tomoki, coming on and doing something, hitting a screamer. That would be a wonderful moment. So Celtic's history is full of these moments. You pick any venue, and you can pick a game that that means so much, and everybody remembers where they were and what they were doing if they weren't there or whatever. And it's what makes this club amazing. The manager spoke about it as well, but its history is full of last-minute goals and never giving up and all that kind of stuff. And tonight's just got all the ingredients to go and do it in style, finishing on that. Nat Phillips feels like a lifetime away, doesn't it? Mm. That day, you just the compare and
all
contrast
started up front that day.
Yeah, so it just feels like a lifetime of, and it's only it's less than 6-7 months, and you think to yourself, how far the team, because everybody was getting used to Brendan Rodgers as well coming back. There was, we thought the signing defenders because we were lacking in that department. So just everything that could go wrong. There's always bumps in the road in the season, but you just felt, wow, people were drastically saying it was falling apart. It wasn't falling apart, but it was just lots of things that conspired against Celtic at that time, and it all came together to make it a lot more difficult than it probably should have been. But I think everybody, like Rangers on Saturday, everybody is up for this game so much. The manager, the players, the fans, everything, and as you say, the poignancy with Tommy Buns and Bobby Murdoch, it's just all there. You just can't see this team not getting the point that they require. I believe they'll get all three, but it's inconceivable in my head at this moment to think that team will suffer a third defeat at Rugby Park. I don't have nerves per se, as I might have had things not going. A lot of people are saying this would be the trickiest game in the run in. I just think you make this. This is the night where you go and have fun, as Brendan Rodgers said. It's your title. Go out and win it. Go and have fun and do it in style and be the team that we all know you can be.
I think that's a part of tonight. I could be wrong, but I don't think the players will be particularly nervous tonight. I think they'll just be wanting to get out there, and I think a lot of the pressure they've been feeling over recent months will have been alleviated with that Derby win at the weekend, and it is now just a case of hopefully turning on the style a bit tonight. That's not necessarily to say we're going to, win 4-5-0. I think it's going to be a tricky game. I know Killie aren't playing for anything, but I just think that pitch always, makes things difficult. Killie are a good team. They're, the fourth best team in Scotland. It's a tough game. They've got some good players, but I just think the team might be really, itching to go tonight and just seal the title. I wouldn't be surprised though if it was maybe some sort of late drama. I'm not saying it'll be as dramatic as Nakamura's free kick that day, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of late drama. But it just gets you so excited. See these games where you can clinch the league. There's like nothing like them. There's just a different feeling. Everyone's just in a different mood. Even if it's a night game, I'm just buzzing for kickoff. Like if we just get that first goal, it's a different celebration when you're going for the league title, isn't it?
It certainly is, and it was never a guarantee this season up until very, very recently. We didn't even know if we were going to have a night like this where Celtic could clinch the title in this way. It could have went all the way. It could have went to the last home game. It could have already been over on the other side as well. Rangers could have won. Imagine if that was the case. I don't even want to think about that, but Celtic are in this position through their own. I know exactly. It's that Kanye West. I guess we'll never know what will happen. I'm so excited for tonight to savour this atmosphere that's about to come, because it's going to be absolutely raucous. Somebody in the comments was saying there was over 3,000 Celtic fans going. It's going to be absolutely raucous at Rugby Park, and they'll row them on, and I'm sure that they'll row them on to victory. I don't think the Celtic players will be nervous either. I think the nerves were for the last games against Hearts and Rangers. Now it's anticipation. They'll be hungry. I remember a game last season that Ange Postecoglou's side, what were they, 3-4-0 up at half time? That could be similar tonight. I could see that happening if they're up for it. You've got players like Matt O'Reilly, who wants more goals this season. You get Kyogo, who didn't score in the last game. You get Hatate, that's not scored in a few games. Loads of players now suddenly want to get in on the act. They all want to have a career where they look back on a goal and say, I scored that goal that won the league. That's what they'll all be thinking. They'll be thinking, I want to score the goal to win the league tonight. I want to score the goal that took Celtic over the line and got them that league title that they've been working so hard for over the course of the season. It's not been guaranteed. There's been ups and downs. I wouldn't be surprised if there was ups and downs tonight, just given that that's the way this season has been. It would be almost symmetrical with how this season has gone so far. But on the other hand, the other side of me thinks that Celtic could come out to play tonight and really put on a show. If they do that, then the atmosphere will be brilliant. It'll be brilliant anyway, but I can't see Celtic not picking up what's required tonight and getting the 3 points again. I know they only need a point, but I can only see Celtic getting 3 points tonight and winning it with a bit of style.
Yeah, 3,835 tickets officially tonight. I think there'll be some more in the home end. They'll find a way to get some more tickets, I'm sure.
You've not been listening to your manager, Ryan. He told you he'd see you in May. He's delivered. He's kept good on that promise. Listen, yeah, we've said before, it's not been a vintage Celtic season, has it? But these are the moments you have to enjoy. Nights like tonight. I love it when it's at a nighttime game and you can clinch the title. There's just something about it. There's just something about night games. As you say, the opening game was playing under the lights anywhere, doesn't really matter. And I think that atmosphere will, transmit to the players. And as you say, they will all be bursting. Joe Hart will want to score the title-winning goal. What a way that! I mean, imagine a moment like that. That'd be fantastic. You say late drama, he just comes up for a corner and does something like that. How good would that be? So, and a few commenters saying let him hit the penalties. No, don't let him hit the penalties. It's a professional and clinical job to be done. Matt O'Reilly missed his last one, but he's still on them for me. So, sentiment can't take over at any time until Celtic have this over the line. So you've got a job to do first and foremost. And if they're professional about it and clinical about it, then they can. It will be a tough game. Kilmarnock do have nothing to play for, but they'll want to turn party spoilers, won't they? But I just think that Celtic won't allow them to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say we're almost back to square one with the penalty stuff, which kind of went under the radar, I guess, at the weekend. Just a couple of things before we go. First one, Neil Lennon is set to get back into management, but it's not with Hibs. In fact, I could probably give you, 500 guesses, and you'd probably struggle to get the team. Just double check. Romania. Pretty sure I'm right in saying it's Romania. Rapid Bucharest. Neil Lennon's set to become their manager. Steaua Bucharest's rivals. He's quite out there, isn't he? I mean, he had that spell in Cyprus and he's now going to Romania. Fair play, I say, not just sticking around in Scotland. That'll be interesting to see how that goes, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be looking at that with keen interest. I'd heard of Rapid Bucharest, but everybody thinks of, I think they were European champions once upon a time, Steaua Bucharest, their main rivals. Rapid haven't won the league in something like 20 years or so it's up to Neil Lennon to bring back the thunder.
Romanian football?
1986, Steaua Bucharest won the Champions League. They won 2-0 in penalties against Barcelona in the Camp Nou. Steve Archibald and Mark Hughes, I think, played for Barcelona. Yeah, dreadful game. Finished 0-0, and neither of them could score in the shootout, and the Romanian goalkeeper was the hero. 2-0. We got a penalty shootout that finished 2-0. Who'd have thunk it, eh? But yeah, Steaua had a great team back then. And some of their players, I think, played at Ibrox a couple of seasons later when they beat Rangers. And they had Lakatush in particular. It's a great moment in sport when Archie McPherson's commentating. I think Steaua won the first 2-0, and Lakatush scores after 5 minutes, and Archie in his usual self goes, and Lakatush has killed the tie, stone dead. He just loves him all over Chris Woods. But he was a wonderful player. He's the one that soonest put the tackle in. Ever seen that footage of Souness absolutely studding the guy in the solar plexus, let's say? I'm thinking it might have been Lakatush from Steaua Bucharest. It's a famous tackle. But yeah,
Kenny Miller apparently said that it wasn't even a foul.
I know, it was fine. And I don't even think he got sent off for it. I think I think the referee had a stern word with him. He was shouting him. But yeah, so they are Steaua Bucharest are once upon a time the European champions, but Rapid Bucharest, the other one who don't think have done, as Ryan said, much of note in lots of years.
It's up to him to bring back the thunder to Rapid Bucharest, I guess. He brought the thunder back to Celtic. Now it's time for him to do that in Romania as well. We'll see how it goes. It's definitely an out there appointment and an out there job for him, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he does.
I once saw his Celtic team play Cluj in Cluj. We lost 2-0. It was a dead rubber match, and I just couldn't go over how cheap Romania was for everywhere. I feel like the whole country's kind of still being built at the moment.
Was that the game that was loads of fog in that game, or humidity or something? No, Scott Robertson made his debut.
Pretty drunk, so I don't remember much fog.
It's a cracking city, by the way. You'll enjoy it. It's a nice place, a nice part of the world.
Yeah. For other thing I wanted to mention, a couple of people pointing out, big night for Celtic women as well, playing Hearts tonight. Rangers have got Hibs, and as we know, the table is pretty tight at the top. No points in it at the moment. We have a better goal difference, so I think we've got Hibs at Celtic Park on Sunday as well. So a couple of games to go, and I think a couple of victories will secure a first ever SWPL title for the women. So good luck to them tonight as well, and obviously to the men, the first team tonight. Hopefully we get the job done, and hopefully the next time we're all together, we're the champions. Did you have anything else to say, Ryan? I thought you were about to.
Yeah, it was just quickly, I was quite excited about the comments, and I've been stung with this before, but Brendan Rodgers made it very clear in his press conference that he needs to be backed in the summer. I think he's put out the warning shot to the board and said, I've not got the required quality that I need to manage at the next level, at the Champions League level. So, he's put the feelers out. He's definitely said, right, I need to be backed in the summer. Hopefully the board put their money where their mouth is, or Brendan Rodgers can put, you know what I mean. I hope that they can back Brendan Rodgers and make sure that he gets the quality in that he needs. I just think tonight could be one of the last times that you see quite a few players of this team, whether that be they'll move on to bigger and better things at a different club, or they might not be up to standard and they move on in the summer. Either way, I think it's going to be a summer of change, and there'll be quite a few signings coming through the door. That's my hope and expectation anyway. What happens might be different, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the summer with that.
Bigger and better things than Celtic? Is there such a thing, Ryan?
There's not. I know. I always say bigger, bigger, but not necessarily better, is what I say. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, but you know what players are like. Short clear.
Well, ask
Postecoglou.
Carol Starfelt apparently nearly getting relegated. There's someone else, Juranovic, I think, is getting relegated, Union Berlin. Anyway, enjoy your night, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Hopefully we're all celebrating. I'll be getting up, as I say, a 4:30 kickoff tomorrow morning for me. So I'll be in the beers by 6:30. Tomorrow's video could be very fun, guys. Just a final shout out for this. 6 months of access for £1 for the Celtic Way. And you could win lunch with Celtic legend Martin O'Neill. And that's open to long-term subscribers as well. Automatically entered into the draw. Right, okay, thanks everyone. Good luck to Celtic tonight. Let's do it. Let's win the league. Speak to you tomorrow.